All right, today we are diving deep into what might be one of the most incredible, most ambitious communication projects that humanity has ever dreamed up. Actually, trying to talk to whales.
It's a question that honestly sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, right? But right now, scientists are taking this incredibly seriously. If we finally manage to crack their code, what's the very first thing we should say to another intelligent species right here on our own planet? And as you're about to see, the answer is way more complicated than you might think.
You'd think that everyone involved would be excited, but some of the top experts in the world, people like marine biologist Hal Whitehead, are basically saying, hold on, maybe we shouldn't do this at all. This isn't just about a technical problem to be solved. It's a huge ethical minefield. And that brings us to the core paradox of this whole thing. Our very desire to connect with them could be the thing that ends up causing irreparable harm.
Yeah, legal scholars like Cesar Rodriguez Garvivo, who actually advises the main research project, are urging extreme caution. They warn that we just can't predict the kind of damage a conversation could do. I mean, think about it. One single phrase meant to be friendly could get mistranslated and be heard as a threat, totally disrupting a social structure that's been around for millions of years.
So before we even start thinking about what to say, we have to understand who we'd be talking to. And let me tell you, the sperm whale is maybe one of the most alien intelligences we could ever hope to meet. Just look at the sheer scale of time we're dealing with here. 400 million years ago, our common ancestors crawled out of the ocean. But then 50 million years ago, the ancestors of whales, they went back in. That is a massive, massive evolutionary gap separating our two ways of thinking. And their minds are just staggering. A sperm whale's brain can be up to 6 times larger than a human's. And it's not just bigger. Its cerebral cortex is way more folded and complex. They are, in every possible sense of the word, creatures of profound depth. This little comparison says it all, doesn't it? For us to go into their world, we need a high-tech titanium shell, a submarine just to survive the crushing pressure. They spend most of their lives down there, completely naked. It's just their home. We're the fragile ones here. So, with all of that respect and humility in mind, let's just imagine for a second what a first contact situation would even look like. How would we even begin to say hello? Okay, so let's walk through the plan. First, a single female diver approaches. Why female? Because sperm whale pods are matrilineal. They're led by the females. Now, from a whole kilometer away, they can see her with their echolocation. They might even be able to sense her heart racing. Then, she plays a specific pattern of clicks through a speaker. It's their clan's unique social marker. The hope is they hear this and think, we are kin. But here's the risk. What if they hear it as a disgusting mockery or a threat? These are the largest toothed predators on the planet. A simple misunderstanding could be absolutely fatal. But if it works, wow. The ultimate sign of success would be this incredible, beautiful moment of connection. The whales would approach her, and then barrel roll alongside her in this amazing display of touch and trust. That would be a pretty good start to a conversation that could last for millennia. So, this brings us to the crazy piece of technology that might actually make all this possible. Because we're not just sending divers down there with a speaker, we're betting the farm on an artificial intelligence to be our translator. The AI's whole job is to decode these things called codas. You can think of them like a kind of whale Morse code. But instead of just letters, these rhythmic clicks might stand for entire ideas or concepts. One biologist had this beautiful way of putting it. He said it was like the incanatory power of a drum circle spread across a huge patch of ocean. But first things first, the AI has to find the signal in all that noise. It has to filter out all the other sounds in the ocean, including the mega metronome clicks of the male sperm whales. You know, their clicks are so loud and so rhythmic that for centuries, sailors literally thought they were hearing the ghost of Davy Jones knocking from the bottom of the sea. But here's where it gets really risky. Relying on AI is a huge gamble. These models are basically black boxes. We don't really know how they get their answers. And they can hallucinate. They can just make things up. A single mistake isn't just a technical error. It could cause massive cultural chaos for them. Imagine accidentally telling a pod, your leader is going to kill all of you. As one philosopher pointed out, in the end, the only ones who can actually tell us if the translation is right are the whales. And then there's the biggest, most fundamental question of all. Skeptics point out that just because something is complex, that doesn't automatically make it a language. You know, the really intricate songs of humpback whales or birds, they're often just for show, with a very simple message underneath it all, like, let's mate. So are we here trying to decode Shakespeare when all they're really doing is just singing a pop song?
Which all circles back to the final and maybe the most important question of all. Let's just assume we pull it off. The AI works, first contact is a success. Now what? What is the right thing to say?
I mean, really think about that burden. We would be writing the opening line in a conversation between two species, a dialogue that could potentially outlast our entire civilization. Yeah, no pressure, right? You know, when researchers are asked this question, their answers are just incredibly humbling. A lot of them agree that the very first word should probably be sorry. Sorry for the centuries of bloody industrial whaling. Others suggest questions that come from a place of service, like, are our ships too loud? Can we help you? What is the worst thing in your life, in case there's something we can do to fix it?
And that really leaves us with this final, profound thought. Are we, in all of our excitement and eagerness to connect, about to start a wonderful, brand new dialogue? Or are we about to be incredibly rude and interrupt a conversation that's been going on totally uninterrupted for millions and millions of years?